Ahoy YouTube! Emmy here. Before the video starts, make sure you have your drink and your snack and you're nice and relaxed via in a chair or on a couch or in your bed or heck on the floor or in your car. Just make sure you're relaxed when you're watching the video, because I sure wasn't making the video. In the meantime, bye everybody!
Hello everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in for this next challenge run. This time we're going to be doing it of Metroid Prime 1. Well, if you couldn't tell with how the title screen is and everything. This one, we're going to be beating the game with lowest percentages possible. I know there's probably going to be maybe a boss or two where it's just probably going to be impractical to defeat them. So I might have to grab an energy tank later on. But until then, we're just gonna have some fun and see how far we can get. Don't mind that. That's one of my other playthroughs. I like playing through this game. I play through at least like 2 times a year. Anyways, let's get started. Alrighty, so after the opening cutscene of us arriving on the Space Pirates frigate, we just do this little bit of a target tutorial. And if you couldn't tell, yes, I am playing on the GameCube version of the game, so I gotta deal with the bad tank controls. I'm too cheap to get a Switch, so GameCube it is. Anyways, we're just proceeding through the frigate. It's just a tutorial. Nothing here is really scary. If you die in the frigate, well then get good, I guess. Alrighty, so after navigating through the frigate, we get to the reactor where our first boss fight awaits. It's nothing but a glorified tutorial against the Parasite Queen, teaching you how to strafe and aim for weak points. It mainly wants you to scan to learn the weak points, then your aiming reticle switches to its mouth, where its weak point is. But this boss is a very big pushover. Don't blink and you'll miss it. Alright, so did you blink? Well, anyways, what I did there was the missile cancel. We fire a missile, shoot your power beam, fire a missile, just mash the 2 buttons and you can rapid fire them. I use that a lot normally in my playthroughs, but I can't really take advantage of this in this playthrough. Trust me, you'll see why. Missiles do about 30 units of damage. Parasite Queen has about 480 HP, so we managed to melt her pretty fast. Now we're just escaping the frigate. Well, it's just straightforward. I've never died at this part, and honestly, if you do, I feel sorry for you. Anyways, see you later at Challange 4. And now as we make our way down the hallway and hit the scan for this to turn on the elevator. And this is where we get smacked by an energy blast and we lose all of our power-ups. Huzzah! Alrighty, so after landing on Talon 4, after chasing Ridley down to the planet, we are going to be following the only path forward. There are a couple of different branches you can go, but they don't really take you anywhere. One takes you to a dead end, the other one takes you to a dead end and a crater. The other one takes you into a dead end full of water. Pretty straightforward, just follow the path. I am going to be minimizing the exploration as much as possible up until the point where we need to explore. And I'm going to be avoiding as many enemies as possible. Pretty straightforward. Take the elevator, head on over to the Chozo ruins. See you in a moment. Alright, so the Chozo ruins are pretty simple. We're literally just going to go around and collect some of our abilities. We need to get missiles, we need to get Morph Ball, we need to get bombs. And sadly, in this version of Metroid Prime I'm playing, Charge Beam is required because you cannot do a skip to avoid the spot where you got to use it. So I need to get Charge Beam. Just going to montage through here, and then I'll get back to you guys. Alrighty, for this fight, I just like to call these trials. For this fight, it's pretty simple. Kill the wasp that it spawns and shoot the red light until it dies. About 3 waves. Alright, with that, it is defeated. I don't know really what to call it, but whatever. Anyways, let's go grab our missiles. We need them to beat the game. And sadly, we only get 5. And that means we can't do a bunch of spammage later on when it comes down to using like super missiles and stuff. Well, we'll get there when we get there, I guess. Let's just take a quickie leaky peeky at that E-tank we cannot grab. And let's get going. Off to the next trial. Alright, for this next trial fight to get our Morph Ball, it's literally just a horde battle. We just kill these things as they pop up until the second phase starts. Alright, for phase 2, we face the bigger beetle. It's super easy. Just lock onto it, wait for the charge, then strafe to the side and shoot its red weak spot. Couple of missiles should bring it down. I think about 3 honestly kills it. Sometimes you can get 2 in, but most of the time only 1 and maybe a couple of power beam shots. Other than that, it's honestly a super simple fight. Alright, with the bigger beetle dead, we claim our reward, which is our missing Morph Ball. The Morph Ball is essential if you couldn't tell, because if you play Metroid games, you gotta roll around as a ball. Anyways, off to the next trial fight. Alright, as we progress our way through the Chozo ruins, like I said, we need to grab Charge Beam. So making a detour here, we gotta scan these to activate them. Easy peasy, it's just a platforming puzzle pretty much. Just dying from the acidic water. Alrighty, this next part, I call this the trash disposaler, because it's literally what this thing is in lore. It just disposes of the trash. Another super simple fight. Wait for its weak spot to open up, hit its weak spot, and then it's going to turn its flamethrowers up to destroy the hive. Even though the hive has nothing to do with the fight besides for the wasp just trying to defend themselves. But anyways, easy battle to get our power bombs, sorry. Morph Ball bombs. I'm just going to go ahead and just explain, because if you're a Metroid fan, you know how backtracky the games are. I'm going to be cutting out all of the backtracking sections, and I'll just pretty much just leaving in the important stuff, like the major item collecting, major fights, and the bosses, obviously. Oh, I guess that counts as major fights. Because it would probably get a little boring, repetitive, just saying, oh, now we backtrack to so-and-so area, now we backtrack to so-and-so. I'll just explain as we go, though. But for right now, I do hope you guys are enjoying it. Alrighty, now it's time for our first true boss fight. Like how I always say, he's honestly truly easy. He's a gimmick fight. You knock the solar panels up when you stun him, and then he'll fall over. You can morph ball into the little tunnels to then place bombs, which will then in turn burn him and cause actual damage to his health bar. Majority of the time you're just stunning him and strafing. It's easier to stay locked on for your strafe so you can get around faster with your strafe boosts, strafe jumps. Other than that, he's really not that hard. I did learn that he can hit hard. By golly, he got me low a couple of times. But he does do this little ground attack where he'll make plants grow, and after they fade away, they can then drop items to heal yourself back up. Again, not very hard of a fight. Just circle strafe while locked on, stun him, lock onto the panels, blast them upwards, he falls over, morph ball, and set him on fire. Right here, I don't know what the hell happened. My controller kind of was acting up. But luckily I didn't die. A fun little fact really fast as this fight comes to an end. If you use cheats or sequence breaking to get here with the Wave Beam and Wave Buster missile combo, you can actually kill him with it. I didn't do it in this because I don't feel like cheating. Anyways, we defeat him and the waters get purified and are no longer toxic. Alright, the reason I was taking it slow here is because I never knew you could actually hear Samus doing, like, exhausted breathing. I guess when her energy's low in her suit, she's very tuckered out. Anyways, we're heading on over to Magmore Caverns, which is a hop skipping away down this tunnel. For Magmore Caverns, nothing really exciting happens there. It's just a traversal area. So I will be skipping a majority of everything there unless it's story important. Meaning, like, item collections and stuff. Alright, so now we make our way to Phenomenon Drifts. That's what I call it. It's the ice zone of the game. Like how I keep saying, it's just straightforward. We're going to be coming here to grab one item and then immediately leaving. Alright, so we literally just follow the winding path, go through the tunnel, do some parkouring, more parkouring, do even more following the winding path, even more parkour, to then get... And that, my kids, is a good way of saying foreshadowing. Anyways, now we have to backtrack back through Magmore Caverns, Chozo Ruins, Talon Overworlds. So cue the montage backtracking. So the reason I'm leaving Magmore Caverns is because you can't have a playthrough of Metroid without having Magmore Caverns theme playing. It's too damn good. But I'm gonna literally just skip until we get to the next progression item I need. It's all backtracking, straightforward, and you ask, oh my gosh, my words. At a certain spot, you have to use Boost Ball. After that, you're done. Alright, with all that backtracking out of the way, we're at the spot where we need to use Boost Ball. Obviously, use the Boost Ball to go up the ramp, and whoosh, and bada bing, bada boom. You're at the top. Follow the path, and you'll be at our next progression item. Alright, we now have Space Jump, which allows us the double jump, which in turn allows us to progress even further. And guess what? Backtracking all the way back to Phenomenon Drifts. Cue the Magmore Caverns montage. Our next destination is right in front of us. Head upwards, do a little bit of parkouring, jump up there, jump across the gap, make our way to the next building. And here we're going to be working our way up to the tower. Up to the top of the tower, my mistake, sorry. Alrighty, we got ourselves a fight. The first few things we gotta do is, obviously, we gotta kill the little guys. They're easy peasy. I didn't explain it before because I skipped past them, but you strafe behind them, destroy the little ice on their back, and then they literally die right afterwards. After that, we gotta fight on the big Maluka, the Shigoth. It absorbs your power beam shots, and in turns, either it fires it back at you and then it overheats. Then you just got to aim your missiles right at the side of its face or right in its face. One of the two. I kind of overestimated this fight and I died. Alright, round 2. This goes a lot better. I decide to manually aim my missiles at his face. I just don't know if I'm hitting the spot wrong, but it looks like some connect and some don't. I run out of missiles quite often in this fight because only having 5 is a little nasty. But luckily there are a couple of boxes. I had some bad RNG, but luckily I got enough refills on my missiles in order to defeat the Shigoth. All I just know is that, by golly, those projectiles do 33 units of damage. Ouchie, wowie. But anyways, for the first challenging fight of the game, done and over. Alright, with the wave beam connected, jeez Louise, collected. We can now make progressions even further into phenomenon drifts. Really fast, let's talk about beams. The power beam does 2 points of damage, fully charged does 50. The wave beam does 2 units of damage per beam, so 3 means 6. So it does more damage, it just fires a bit slower. Its charge shot does 40 units of damage, but it can paralyze enemies, which is cool, and I will be taking advantage of that here shortly. Right, after doing a little bit of backtracking to get access to this purple door, we can now go through with double jump in the wave beam. We go down the hallway and come across a morph ball puzzle. We need to use speed booster here, a couple of morph ball bombs, and bada bing bada boom, we now have access to the Space Pirates Arctic base. I forgot what they call this. It's a science lab. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, okay. Alright, so inside the Space Pirates laboratory, the wave beam is really good against turrets. One charge shot can usually stun them, if not, will instant kill the early turrets. And it'll, like, overload them. Here we're forced to fight a horde of space pirates. The wave beam excels here. It can stun them. It's great. I love it. It does a lot of damage. It makes them cry and go home to their mommies. I will use the wave beam a ton, and power beam not so much here. This part wasn't really even that hard. I mean, they did hurt if they got their shots on you, but for some strange reason, they don't seem to be that accurate. And if it seems like I'm just glancing over this area, like I said earlier, it's straightforward, it's easy. There's nothing too challenging here yet. I emphasize yet, because we are going to be getting introduced to some more stronger enemies soon. But until then, I'm just going to be skipping through the boring parts. It's just point A, point B, kill some enemies in between. Nothing can really withstand the wave beam at this very moment. And like I said earlier, the super missiles is required in this version of Prime that I'm playing. This is the latest version of it. So sadly, we got to pick it up. It does provide us a nice chunk of damage, but at the cost of 5 missiles, which in turn is all of our missile reserves. In the upcoming area, we get ambushed by a bunch of pirates. It's a few normal pirates and we kill them off. And then we get introduced to flying pirates. They are a little bit tougher because they're airborne, so they're more maneuverable. They get me pretty low. Their missiles that they launch at you do quite a bit of damage. And then the fact that when you kill them, they can suicide towards you. And that can also hurt you for a pretty chunk of damage. Again, wave beam here, no problem, cleans them right on up. Moving on. Oh boy, and here we get introduced to Metroids. Woo! It's honestly your first introduction to Metroids. They're really weak to the wave beam. Just takes 2 charge shots and a follow-up blast is enough to kill one. Not really that hard. They're dangerous when they're in groups though. In the following room, you have to fight through a couple of space pirates and a couple of turrets. As you make your way down, you can scan the red nodes that pop up when you look at like the computer displays. And after you get all 3, you unlock access to thermal vision. I really love thermal vision. I really wish it would make a more comeback in another game or something like that. But it doesn't. I really like the looks of it though. You can use it to see, well, thermal images, meaning we can solve a couple of puzzles to get out of here. And it's good because it gets really dark. We can't see much. But anyways, after that, nothing really too dangerous happens. We're just backtracking to get out of the laboratory. On my way out of the laboratory, I will make one note. Be careful of security drones. They can delete your health bar in an instant. And I still have no idea how this guy spotted me so easily. Outside the laboratory, we now use thermal vision to see that there's something right there. But we need to use a super missile to uncover it. And that's the one and only time we need to mandatorily use... the one and only time super missiles are mandatory to get through this playthrough. Anyways, we're leading up to our second main boss. I thought he was going to be a lot tougher, but he's not. Honestly, he's actually relatively easy. Alrighty, the living Phazon rock monster. Thardus, or whatever you call his name is. Originally, I thought he was going to be a pain in the butt because for some strange reason, I always have issues fighting him. But the gimmick is you need to turn on thermal vision, find his weak spot, destroy the weak spot, get out of thermal vision because he blinds you. Go back to your normal combat vision and just keep targeting the rock. Wave beam does the most damage, but since it's so slow, his body parts can end up blocking it. I use missiles every now and then to get some extra damage in there, and I throw out a super missile or 2. The little rocks that he spawns can drop items, but they very rarely drop missile refreshes for me. Maybe I was just having bad luck. He has this silly rolling attack that he does, which you can sorry. Which you can evade by just backing into the very corners of the room. He managed to hit me once with it, or twice with it. But it's not that hard. He can end up freezing you with his ground pound attack, but you just spam jump to get out of it. Other than that, a pretty easy boss fight. Nothing too crazy here. Alright, with the defeat of that boss, we now get access to Spider Ball. And am I the only one who's ever thought that Samus with Spider Ball in the 3D games, the Prime games, looks like a freaking yo-yo? Anyways, the path is straightforward. We head over to the other wave door that we didn't go through, since we have access with Spider Ball now. Go back down to Magmore Caverns, and you guessed it, backtracking all the way back to Chozo Ruins, because we need to get a new beam upgrade. Cue Magmore Caverns montage. Alright, so after some backtracking, going through the Chozo Ruins to a brand new location, it's really simple, just follow the path that's available to you. We come across the Chozo Ghosts. These guys are completely immune to Wave Beam, which I found out the hard way. Normally you fight them in groups of 3. They're not challenging, they're just annoying because you can't do anything about their teleporting because they go invisible. We can fix that later on in the game. Takes me a moment to figure out that, oh, wait, Wave Beam's not working. But I end up managing to kill him, and then we move on. Alright, after a little bit of a morph ball puzzle, we go up there, blast the door obviously with a missile, and get access to the ice beam. Hey, and guess what? It's now time for even more backtracking. We backtrack the Challange overworld, then back through Magmore Caverns, and then back to Phenomenon Drifts to make more progression after. I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, my dumb butt got lost for like a good 40 minutes trying to find my way back to this location. So that was cool. Anyways, we are going to be progressing through the outskirts of this area, looking for another upgrade. The path is really just straightforward. There's no way you can miss anything. Just keep following the directions that are available to you, and you'll eventually find the upgrade. Alright, and after a bit of backtracking, we work our way back all the way down Talon 5 to where we save on our gunship. And sadly, I will be skipping over the sunken frigate. It's just retreading the first part of the game where you're on the Space Pirates frigate. I love the music that plays in there, but it's an absolutely boring location. There's nothing to do. Just a couple of thermal vision puzzles and a couple of new enemies, but they're really no threat, and you can just blast them and they go away anyways. Anyways, sorry about that. We'll be catching back up when we get to the next destination that we'll be going to. I love this location. I love the atmosphere of the Phazon Mines. The difficulty cranks up here because we get introduced to even more new enemies. But yeah, I'm going to be taking this area slow. We're just here to get just 2 items, and by golly, it took me so long to get through here. The only challenging thing here at the very moment are what is called commando pirates. And the only way to hurt them is to match the beam to their color. So purple to purple, yellow to yellow, and white to white. We don't have the last beam yet. I do die here a couple of times, but manage to get through. We get a hold of power bombs and grappling beam. Hot dog. I know it seems like I skimmed over the Phazon Mines for right now, but we'll be coming back here soon after we get another upgrade. Or 2. And with a little bit of backtracking, back to Talon Overworld through the Phazon Mines. We go up the spider track. Shoot the ice beam. Use the power bombs to get through there. And snag ourselves the X-ray vision. Now we do a little morph ball puzzle with the bombs, boost ball, and snag ourselves one of the many Chozo artifacts required to beat the game. I already have one collected because I forgot to get it, make a clip of it, but I will re-show you the location where it's located at. And before we leave this area, we are forced to fight 3 Chozo ghosts. With our X-ray vision, we can now see them as they turn invisible. They're honestly really simple to fight. I get pretty low in this fight. They almost kill me. About three charge beam shots and a couple pellets is enough to kill one, or 1 super missile if you're lucky. Other than that, not really that hard of a fight. Alright, so now we're making our way back to where we fought the first main boss of the game. We're going back to the Sun Chamber because we're going to be collecting the artifacts we need in order to get to the last area of the game. This is a simple fight, just 3 Chozo ghosts, easy peasy. Grab the artifact and we're moving on. We're just going to be doing a quick montage of all the items I gather because it's just getting everything now and out of the way, so I don't got to do it later. This Chozo artifact is right past the morph ball room. You just need wave beam, gravity suit in order to reach this one. Oh, and space jump too. So I could have got this one a lot earlier. This Chozo artifact you get as soon as you get super missiles. But I keep forgetting about that. You just need to use the super missile on that pillar. This is literally like the 3rd room of Magmor Caverns you come into if you take the natural way through the Chozo ruins. This is the one I picked up accidentally and forgot to save the clip of it. But you find this one inside the, what is it? What do they call this? The security outpost in the Magmor Caverns. You just gotta use a boost ball track to get to it, and then you collect it. Right, now we're just doing the big old morph ball puzzle in order to get to the plasma beam, which is the last, well, second to last beam that you acquire in the game. You don't really acquire the last one, you just use it. I'm just speeding this up because it's long and boring. At the very edge of Phenomenon Drifts, there's a wall you have to use a power bomb on, plasma beam to open up and grab the next Chozo artifact. The next Chozo artifact is located where we first encountered the flying pirates. You just gotta break that ice wall back there with the plasma beam, shoot the tanks back there with a missile, and the artifact is yours. The last artifact is located in the room right before the Shigoth mini-boss fight, where we got Wave Beam. Shoot the ice pillar with the plasma beam, jump up there, use Morph Ball, opens up the tunnel, and the next artifact is, once again, ours. Alright, I almost forgot this one. We need to go back to the Chozo Ruins with the plasma beam, shoot this morph ball hole with it, open it up, morph ball bomb, then go down through the doorway that opens up and get the next artifact. Back in the Phazon Mines, when you come across this room, use a power bomb to break open the tube this guy's in. He's containing our next Chozo artifact. Kill him. He's just like a normal Phazon elite pirate. He just takes a couple of char shots to the face with the plasma beam. Once he drops his guard, shoot him. Easy peasy. Alright, now back to where we last left off in the Phazon Mines. We can make more progression because we have the X-ray vision. It just makes traversing through this area a lot easier. The only dangerous thing here is the Phazon itself and maybe some of the beam pirates. I remember I called them commando pirates. I apologize. They're actually just beam pirates. There's plasma pirates, power pirates, wave pirates, ice pirates. They're all just named after, well, the beams you have. Other than that, traversing through this place is super simple, and I'll see you guys here in a moment. Oh boy, here we go. The Omega Pirate. This is one of the bosses I was going to be fearing in the game, and damn right I feared it. The boss himself is not difficult. His attacks are easy to avoid. It's his freaking minions he summons. The beam pirates he spawns, nothing but the beam pirates. You need to destroy his armor plating. After you destroy his armor platings, which are 2 on his legs, 2 on his shoulders, he will go invisible. He will then spawn 3 pirates. You're on a timed portion right now. You need to kill his pirates, then attack him while he's regenerating his armor. If you don't, you just keep repeating the cycle over and over. Again, his beam pirates were the hardest things here to kill. I kept praying every time they spawned in, I would get either wave pirates or ice pirates, because then I could just stun lock the wave pirates till they died, and the ice pirates die from a charged ice beam to missile combo. There's a funny thing that goes on though. His right shoulder, his right pauldron, it glitches out a lot, and it seems to like let my beams pass through. Charge Plasma Beam is the best choice here, in my opinion. Every phase can be instantly skipped as soon as you use a super missile on him. But I figured out if you use a charged plasma shot and then a super missile, you can do a lot more damage. But there's also a weird thing that happens. If you let him continue the cycles for too long, while he's invisible, he can spawn in another wave of enemies, which really ruined me a couple of attempts. And then I was like, no, I'm just gonna do each cycle with a plasma beam charge shot. 2 every cycle was good enough. And this is the closest attempt I got so far, and by golly, I got some good luck. One of the pirates managed to drop me a missile right before I ran out of time, and I got a super missile off on him. Well, with our brand new suit, we do a lot of backtracking through the Phazon Mine's depths to grab the second to last artifact. Just gotta go through a little morph ball maze really fast. It's easy peasy. Make a quick pit stop at our ship to make a save, and we head on over to the impact crater. I always save this artifact for last just because it's out here in the open. There's no way you can miss it because it's literally at the final area that you go to. Alright, we finally made it to Meta Ridley. In all honesty, I thought this was going to be a lot harder of a fight. He's really simple. You can just walk forward and avoid those missiles most of the time. He does a sweeping beam attack, which you can just jump over or back away from most of the time. And he has an air raid bombardment attack, which you can easily avoid by just going to the outmost parts of the ring. I don't know what's going on here with my freaking recording software, but it keeps stretching the screen, which honestly makes this a little bit more of an annoying fight. But really, this isn't really that bad. Every now and then Ridley will land on the platform itself, and there you can get some extra damage on him. It's literally just free damage. Plasma Beam is the best thing to use here along with Super Missiles. Plasma Beam can, well, you can just fire it faster, and Super Missiles do a whopping 50 points of damage to him. In his second phase, he gets a lot easier. Trust me, I'll show you. In Ridley's second phase, he's down on the platform to fight you mano, man to man, woman v space dragon. What you want to do is just hit his face whenever he opens. Plasma Beam is the best for this, and then shoot his chest when it's vulnerable. I started to come to a realization that you can literally just stun lock him to death. I do die a couple of times because the lock-on's a little finicky and the timing is a little hard sometimes, if you can see right there. But I found out that if you jump towards his, what is that? That would be his left claw when he's lifting his head up like that. You can hit his mouth and his other hand won't block it. But yeah, I figured out that wait, you can just stun lock Ridley to death. It is such an easy fight. And this battle will be over in no time. Alrighty, the final area of the game. We're literally just going to skip through this. It's just a couple of rooms, a little platforming. Alrighty, it is time for the final boss of the game. Phase 1, Metroid Prime in his exosuit. He'll swap between the beams, match the color of the beam, obviously, yellow to yellow, purple to purple. It's like fighting the beam pirates. The beams you don't want to deal with, honestly, you want to get out as soon as possible, is probably Ice Beam and Power Beam, but only Power Beam if you can't do a Super Missile. His attacks are very easy to avoid. When you do enough damage, he'll charge from one side of the room to the other. You can just morph ball underneath him. As you progress through the fight, his forms switch faster and faster, and sometimes he'll even do it mid-attack, which is crazy. He has like a little gas missile, he has explosion missiles, and he has 2 orbs he can launch out. Those are the only things that can drop items, so break those as soon as you can, and hopefully you get health when you need it, because his attacks can deal out a lot of damage. The little floaty orbs do about 50, so 2 of them can literally kill you, and, well, can kill you pretty fast. You can get hurt by your own beam projectiles if they bounce back to you, so you gotta be careful. It does little damage, but you never know, it could end up killing you. Honestly, not that hard of a fight. Just keep up the dodging, and hopefully wave beam and plasma beam. Those are the ones you want. Wave beam can lock on, and plasma beam can do extra damage with its fire. Anyways, after we destroy his exosuit, I'm not even gonna joke around with this fight. As a kid, this boss used to be terrifying and hard, but honestly, it's super simple. He rotates between X-ray vision, thermal vision, and combat vision. You gotta jump over his little wave attacks he does. He does them once or twice in a row. He'll try to lunge at you. In all honesty, he's super simple to dodge. If you had trouble with the Omega Pirate, this is literally just that, but a lot easier. Every now and then he'll spawn in a Phazon pool, which will also spawn in a couple of Metroids. Power Bomb, I usually right on top of it, will get rid of the Metroids, and then you get Hyper Beam. Lock onto him and start blasting away. It only takes about 4 cycles. The Metroids will drop items for you if you need health, but in all honesty, you don't need it. He's so simple, even with only the 99 energy like I have. The Hunter Metroids, though, if you give them a chance, they will wreck you. I did die once in this fight. Whoops. Because they latched on and they got me. Other than that, 4 cycles, and he's done, pretty much. Oh boy, what a journey. Mission complete. Only 29%?
I bet I could have gotten lower. I ended up scanning a couple things along the journey, and that counts toward your percentage completion. 5 hours and 20 minutes? Meh. I wasn't rushing the game or any hard mode.
Oh, yeah, I was only playing on normal. I don't know if I'm going to do hard mode. Maybe one day. We'll see. Anyways, see you in the next one. Echo, 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 echo.